Welcome to Monday Huddle. My name is Garrett Hall and I'm the Vice President here at Prodigy Plumbing, and sitting to my left is the visionary, the founder, the CEO, Mark. Now my background is a little bit different, comes from finance, from startups. Yours is unique in the sense that you started as a plumber and now you consider yourself an entrepreneur. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was definitely a unique way of starting Prodigy. During the last recession, I was a plumber for 5 years, and as everything started to decline and the market changed and companies were struggling, I was kind of put in a predicament where I had a baby on the way, or my wife did. And I went from the big corporations to the mom and pop shop, and they're going out of business. So here I am, unemployed, with a collapsing market economy, and a new baby. And it was literally, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna figure it out? And support a family, right? And where I come from, I grew up in the inner part of LA. I was living in Southgate. If you guys don't know where it's at, Google it. And it was a rougher neighborhood. And when I realized I had a big purpose change or shift in my life, it wasn't up to me anymore. It was like, how am I going to take care of this child, this baby? My why and my purpose changed so drastically, where I said, well, I know how to do plumbing. I'm going to start with what I think I know that's needed, and bought a van. After I saved a couple dollars, bought a 1990 something Chevy Econoline that had almost 400,000 miles on it. It sounded like it was going to explode.
Gets 10 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, and I said, I got it. I'm doing it. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I just kept pushing to say, I need to find customers, I need to knock on doors, I need to talk to everybody that had a pulse and give them, a cheap business card and say, hey, I do plumbing. Tell your mom and your grandma and your sisters. And literally it started moving, very shortly after. But that was the initial thing, if that answers the question.
To an extent. I think we could start in so many different places, but I think we should start where we are right now and work our way back. Mm-hmm. So starting, from looking at a, bird's eye view from this young guy who's got a baby on the way, back against the wall, to now having the luxury of being able to sit down, take a deep breath, and assess what is our next move, what's our 5-year plan. That 11-year journey, there's been countless ups and downs. But what has stood out to you, reflecting on these 11 years the most?
The thing that stood out the most it's almost 12 years now, and the biggest asset you have to have as an entrepreneur or somebody that wants to start a business is to have some sort of direction and vision for what you want to have or do in the future, and understand to the magnitude of the dream that you have, it's going to require having people in your journey. And if you want to have a big dream and a great dream and something that's going to change your life for generations to come, you have to invest into your team so that they can grow. And with their growth creates added value to the company. And if you are short-sighted and you don't see that big value, that benefit, right, in your people, your company will never scale or grow or be successful, right? It's a huge thing. And I've always known that as I started with when I started with my clients first, I over-delivered at every single job, even when I had no idea how to price our jobs properly. I was beating all my competitors in the market because I didn't have any overhead, and that's what every contractor that starts off is going to do. Well, I'm going to beat the market and just to make some revenue, but they don't understand if they're being profitable or not.
Right.
So I had to say, okay, I'm going to over deliver with a client, make them a fan of my job, my service, the relationship, build, cultivate that, and then ask them for referrals if they had any, or keep me in mind and refer me to anybody that might need a plumber. And little by little, that started creating a snowball effect. And it took time, but 11 plus years later, we're almost 30 employees in the company, multi-million-dollar business, highest rated in our market. It's been a journey, but it's been beautiful to watch it, as you see your team take on the vision and have the energy, have the passion for what we're doing, to be the best, to continue to grow and evolve with technology and all the evolution of the business and the industry. It's awesome, it's fun, it's a lot of work, but looking back, it's been one of the most beautiful journeys I've ever, encountered or been a part of in my life.
Well, the thing that you're saying, and it seems to keep sticking out, is this time aspect, and that you've put in all this time to build something so special. I know from personal experience and just dealing with a lot of different entrepreneurs, time is sometimes the biggest either enabler to success or the thing that cripples success the most, because in due time people will burn out. Can you speak to how you've been able to withstand the burnout and continue to push through adversity?
There is something that I was fortunate enough to learn in my early years of personal development, and understanding your deep purpose and finding your why, right? And it's in our corporate value system. It's in our company value system. Being sustained with why. They're like, why what? You didn't ask a question, right? And I'm like, no, what is your why? What is your burning desire in your life? And if you don't have one, some people are like, that's too big, I don't believe it. Your belief system has to be in alignment with it. But I say, that's fine. Start with something very, very small. If you want to go get a pair of, expensive shoes, make that your goal. It ties into goals. But sometimes people are able to find something really powerful that will make them go through hell and high water to accomplish or stay in a fight for a long time, for a decade plus. Recession, pandemic, now another recession. And they're like, why do you keep doing this? You could be comfortable at this place of, where your company's at and success and money, if that's what it is that you're after. But it goes deeper. And now my personal understanding of life is projecting very far, right? And it becomes a generational thing, okay? The more I can become an example, the more I can transform my internal, DNA and mindset on a generational restructure, if you call it, right? I'm programming things for my children, right? I'm becoming the example for them to only witness one way. That is, Dad's a hardworking guy. He knows how to be a father, take care of us, spend the time with us, be a good husband. Where I grew up, it was the complete opposite. I grew up in the middle of South Central Los Angeles, and on welfare, food stamps, getting robbed all the time, around gangs and the mafia and all that real stuff you see you hear about in the songs, right? And they're like, how does this white kid live? How is it possible? There's no way. Somebody either gave you this company or not. I'm like, no. I witnessed and experienced enough adversity in my life that I knew I could not recreate that, right? I could either stay the victim mindset mentality that's easy to get trapped in, or I could say, that was tough and it sucked. And I'm grateful for the experience, if you go to connect to your higher power, but then you really say, I didn't like that, and I don't want to bring up my kids in this. What can I do different to change their whole future, right? And then even my grandchildren's future. I have to create something for these kids to grow up and only know this certain way, and then they could show down the road, down the generation. And that's how you change the world, if that's, makes sense. But going back to it, my why, it turned into my why. It was so strong where I remember making a promise when things were getting tough in the beginning. My wife was still pregnant. I was like, I have no money. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm trying to make something out of nothing. And
at that point, you said you didn't know if you wanted to be a plumber or an electrician, or you were just a babe.
But before that was after when I was getting started in Prodigy in this company. I said I have to. Well, I remember saying a little prayer, right, over the little belly, the little baby bump, and I said, I'm never gonna put you through the stuff I went through, and I promise I'll never quit. Right?
Well, that was going to be my next question. It's like, hey,
and leading into that, there over almost 12 years, I've been through so many challenges. As any business owner, entrepreneur, you want to accomplish something great, you got to go uphill. And as you're charging the mountain, you're going to be getting shot at the entire time, and booby traps, and all of it. I understood that going into this, right? But I have competition, I have people, I have millions of different personalities that are forces that will be against you, right? It's just how physics works. And I said, keep pushing through the pain, because every time you keep pushing, there's always that breakthrough. And when you do, you get to come above the clouds in the storm and say, oh my God, it's beautiful up here, right? Oh, we got to another step of business and growth. But knowing that, I have to always weather the storm and stomach the painful things that are always going to be a part of this journey, no matter what. You want to do it the easy way, you're still going to have those hard things. You might not grow or become massively big or successful, whatever. But you're always going to have adversity. Me being primed and prepped as a kid, going through all the challenges, I said, well, I know how to get my butt handed to me. I'll get up. And business has got to be the same way, All right, Mark, just keep pushing. And all the times that it got really, really ugly and really, really bad. And I'm like, dude, I could go get a job and deal with less nonsense, say it very nicely, and probably get paid more, right? And sleep better at night, have a real happy life. I could unplug from work and go be a dad and a husband and all that stuff, do all that family stuff. But I said, no, if you do that, Mark, that's the easy way out. Keep sticking in the fight, because understand there's always that breakthrough time. Go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll see further. It's one of my favorite sayings, quotes. And I'm like, okay, just keep pushing, because I want to see further. And I want to make a greater impact to the people in my world, right? Everybody that's in the Prodigy, company, and my family, and everybody around. And then you become an example, I suppose, for positivity and change that could impact your life and everybody around you, right? And I have to take a burden, that most people won't understand. But when I look back 12 years later, right, I'm looking back, I was like, wow, that was a crazy movie. Or like a book you flip through, you're like, Jesus Christ, this was insane.
And you're still standing.
But I'm still here,
yeah.
And I'm like, I just pray, give me strength to endure more pain and help me keep fighting forward for the people that care.
So you said two things that I'm thinking about right now. One of them being the belief system, right? And for you, that's praying, let me get through the pain, right? Let me keep going. Before we dive into that, and for all the viewers out there, we're going to touch on so many different topics, because I know Mark and myself can ping pong back and forth. But I want to go to something else that you said, which is you didn't want to take the easy way out. right? And that's getting a job, having that sense of security, knowing how much you're going to make and what's going in the bank account every single 2 weeks, which a lot of us do, right? How do you know? Or what, I guess, pinpointed, let me rephrase this question and cut this out. You talk about the easy way out. Getting a job, stability, security, cashing a check every 2 weeks. How do you know that you're built for entrepreneurship? Because I think a lot of people begin to start, and obviously starting is the hardest part, and then they decide they're not built for it, and they take what we would call the easy way out. Is there a way to decipher that before you even start, if you're capable of making it through these difficult challenges or adversities you face along the way? And I know that's a loaded question, right? Because it's so hard. You never know what you're going to experience. But looking back, is there little signs that pointed to you where you said, I'm built for this, and I can do it?
There is a time in everybody's life where when you have nothing. I was fortunate, right? My parents being separated at a young age, all of us living in one tiny bedroom in LA, and not having anything or anyone to rely on, right? In a fight, you see the guys that get out of getting mobbed by a bunch of people, their backs against the wall, and they're like, dude, I'm either gonna die here today or I'm gonna fight my way out and get out. There's two mindsets that it will shift towards. Me not having any resources, right? And knowing and it's a commitment to yourself and saying, I'm never gonna go back there, right? And I made it a life and death situation, right? It ain't gonna happen. I gotta go, and I gotta find my way. And when it became over somebody else's life, my why became very, very, very strong. And I made it work. And that's where a lot of people, when they have I won't say names, but I've seen other friends and competitors and other companies that have a nest egg, and they're able to say, well, if it doesn't work, I can go do it this way, or I'll just burn it down and mom and dad will come save it. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I wasn't that. I'm like, dude, I gotta grind, I gotta hustle. And when you come with this fight and this passion, and you're forced to imagine and dream of hopefully I can go this way and hopefully it works, but I'm gonna run in that direction. I don't know what the heck is out there, but I'm running. You're most likely gonna have some breakthrough and be like, dude, I got through this. Whoa, I didn't know this was over here, but oh crap, okay, let's keep running, right? Most people that are comfortable or have something to fall back on or don't have a strong enough purpose and reason why, they're gonna barely skate through, and they're gonna, okay, I got some success, okay, I'm comfortable here. I don't wanna take the risk. I'm gonna stay here where I know my risk factors is I'm okay with. And I'm like, dude, if I don't try and risk everything, even my physical and emotional health, I'm gonna die. I'd rather die running into that concrete wall and breaking it down trying than die from not trying. Because you're gonna die either way, right? But I'm like, how do you want to go out in this world, and what are you gonna push towards and fight for that's gonna make an impact, right, in your immediate future? I risked everything. I gambled with my own life. I even, put my own family, at risk, never being home, bringing home the extra stress, 7 days a week, 12 years in a row. That's a lot. But I'm learning how to move things, have the right people in the right positions, to absorb, delegate our business around, so that I can say, all right, you built a company in 12 years, your kids are still young, your wife still loves you, go be a dad, go be a husband, like focus on these things so you can still have two worlds of happy, health. Business is happy, health, organizationally healthy, family's doing great, you're spending the right time with your kids, the wife, and there's some sort of balance.
But it's safe to say, to be an entrepreneur, to run 1,000,000 miles an hour into the unknown, balance is off the table.
See, if you go into multiple different books like the 7 Habits, they're going to talk about the burnout, their quadrants, hamster wheel, running in circles, all this stuff, which is very accurate. It's how the question really becomes, how good are you at grinding this way at work and still getting the results and still being able to find time and make time for your personal life? It's possible that you can do both. Some people like myself, I'm just a psycho that will go straight into doing what I do and make it work somehow. Some people have no balance. They lose their family within a couple of years, and or a decade, 2 decades go by, and your kids hate you. They don't want to talk to you. Your wife, you're divorced, and then you have all this money in business.
Yep.
And you're alone, and you're unhappy.
So I think the key word, right, is the fulfillment aspect. Because you have to find fulfillment outside of your ultimate why, which could be personal or business, and then find that balance through finding fulfillment. I mean, it's such a unique,
two big
gray
roles.
area spot, right?
Yeah, because you want to go into why and how people can actually create a business and the mindset of an entrepreneur.
Sure.
You could be entrepreneurial, or you could be a real entrepreneur. I think the key factor or point going back to everything is, do you have a purpose? Like, how big is it? Do you have a goal? What's your why? If you don't have one, find it, right?
Yeah.
If it's not, it's for my grandma that passed and she wished that I would do good with my life, then you're 30, 40 years old and you're like, I'm going to fulfill that goal. Grandma, I love you forever. I'm going to do it. But you do it and you start somewhere.
Right.
And you do for something. And then by the time you're on your dying deathbed, and if that's the only goal you had and you're the only person in this world alive, like in your family, and you're like, dude, I fulfilled my life's purpose. It could have been for something that your grandma wished, or something massive like I did it for my kids and the future generations. To each their own. They're all going to have their own purpose. But tie it all in, find something. And I'm very passionate on that because I preach this stuff at our meetings with our team, and everybody says, yeah, but when I have a sit down, right here, I talk to our guys one-on-one, I go, do you really, really have that purpose? Have you found it? Do you know what it is? Not necessarily. I'm like, okay, let's help you find it. Let's help you start somewhere.
Right.
And getting started, it could be something simple as that.
And how important, as we discuss the why, how important is sharing that why with other people? Because you just touched on it. You talk about this weekly during our meetings. And it's not just, here's my why, it's with passion. Here's what I do, and here's why I do it. And it feels like every week you come and rejuvenated with this why. How important, again, I'll go back to that question, is it to share your why with other people to help inspire you, or it doesn't really matter?
It's important because the fact that some people have no direction in life. They will be a ship in the ocean without sails and a rudder. They will drift throughout life.
The plastic bag floating.
The plastic bag floating in the wind. And for me to keep true to providing the company and the vision, right, of and the standard of why we want to be one of the greatest companies in the market in Southern California, and keep that reputation and the standard. All of us have to absorb, indoctrinate the value system, the vision, the mission of the company. We all have to take a piece of it, right? And if you don't have your own connection to what the value system is, like for your personal self, that could be something that everybody just looks at on the wall and says, oh, that's their values and whatever. But if I can connect you with something that resonates or connects with the mission and our values, and you find yours, right? And you say, that's what he's talking about. Very, very quickly, your whole physiology is going to change. Your pep in your step is going to change. Your attitude, your mindset, your direction, really, you become a sail, right? And then it starts moving. And when people start seeing that work in our company, and they see those little changes, and I start small, like I go back saying, start small. When they start seeing a shift, when they start seeing change, when they start seeing their personal life at home become fulfilled, right, and meaningful, and relationships with their children and their spouses start changing, right, and their whole world starts transforming, I know I'm doing my job. Because as a leader, you can't go to the top by yourself. I'm literally pulling everybody up with me. Because as seeing records, let's keep doing amazing, powerful things. And if I'm on that, scale by myself, and our team isn't seeing that they're going up with me, the disconnect will be severed. There's going to be like a little string, and they're going to cut it. And I'll disappear, and then everybody's disconnected. As a team, as a unit, if we could all eat from that same plate, and then the plate gets bigger, and then there's more food, and then it's this humongous feast, and everybody's actually happy, and we're all together as a community, and that's what growth is. That's what their fulfillment is, right? And when people do that at work, and then they can actually take it home, and me hearing stories of our team, saying, dude, you put us through, the 7 habits, of highly effective people course and workshops, and it's impacted my household. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. It's an honor. It's a blessing to be able to serve my team this way, because, it doesn't come back to me in money necessarily. It comes back in many, many different ways. Bible, the universe says, what you give, if you're not willing to give this, you're not willing to receive. What goes around comes around, right? Like attracts like, all that stuff. When you understand that and you could live by it, you'll see it start this domino effect. And to witness it, and I always talk about watching this unfold. It's a beautiful thing. Like I'm in awe, literally, just watching people change and watching them improve. Right? Sometimes I help them so much, or they take so much value from what we, teach at Prodigy, that they might go off and start their own companies or do whatever, right? They might leave a company like, dude, thank you, I love you forever. I'm gonna go spread my wings and fly. And in true leadership, it's not, can I keep you forever? It's more, how much am I going to be able to give you, right? To help you grow. And I've seen other companies say, I'm not spending that kind of money investing in my team. I'm not putting in the time and the energy and all the extra stuff. Where's my return? Like, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know, just do it, it's right.
Well, I think that's something like that you've taught me in business, right? Is I come from the bottom line is what drives the company. And the mindset here is it's not the bottom line, it's the people that drive the company. And the feeling that people leave work and come to work with. And for all the viewers out there, I want to wrap this up, because we're going to be doing and touching on a variety of topics over the next few weeks and the next few months. And Mark has, as you can tell, just so much gold to share. To go back to that, right, which is the people and the feeling and the energy and the why and the desire to build something greater than just a one-man shop. Now we have over 30 employees. We're doing multi-million dollars in business. We're successful to the extent that we just got rated #1 in LA County for plumbing, for AC, for workplace environment. And I know that one really rings a bell for you, but all these things and all of this journey has led us sitting here right now. I would like you to wrap it up by just telling us, what is the feeling? And I say this candidly, you are a successful entrepreneur.
Thank you.
And there are so many people that are going to be inspired by your words. What is the feeling that you have when you wake up, get in your car, and you come to this place that you've built that has found now success?
The feeling that I have every day is there's a slight bit of excitement. There's a slight bit of security. It's taken a long time to get there. In an unstable market and economy and the way the world's changing. But there was a day when there were many days, months in the beginning, where I would sit on my couch dreaming about being at this place, right? I had no customers calling, I had no money, I had people knocking on my door trying to repossess my car, collectors and all that stuff. And now I can wake up and say, and literally look around and be grateful. And I haven't finished my journey yet. I haven't accomplished everything that I want, because that's an unfolding, everlasting thing, right? Ongoing. But to stop and smell the roses and just say, dude, your humble beginnings, honor them and be grateful for the learnings that you witnessed and experienced. But today, be grateful. Right? And I'm not retired, I'm not a multi-gazillionaire. But where we're at, just stop, be still, experience the moment of gratitude. I get to go to work every day. I get to go to work, right? And I get to help people accomplish those. It's changed. Everything's changed. I'm not under a house digging holes and getting nasty water splattered in my face anymore. It's more, how do we help other people? And it goes into a state of gratitude, like a constant, right? Because I know what it's like to be in the worst position and have nothing, and start with nothing, and when everything was falling apart, that gave me a lot of grit. That gave me a lot of fire. Maybe part of ego was like, they're looking at you, you're gonna be the statistic, like you never made it out of the hood, and you're never gonna do. And I was a punk rocker too, so the lifestyle was insane. I still play the music, but to break free from alcoholism, like addiction lifestyle, and be sober for years and transform myself, create I call it beautiful, I don't want to be biased, but a beautiful company, right? To see amazing people. Like, I'm so blessed to walk in and like, dude, you were amazing. I'm so grateful for everything that you do. And people, they recognize that, we give each other hugs, and to be able to do this, I'm honored, I'm blessed. And we still got a long journey to go, so I guess right now, just staying grateful, constantly. And keep praying for everybody to live a fulfilled and peaceful, peace in their hearts, and happiness, I wish for everybody. I just ask higher power, God, universe, help me help other people more at another level. This next decade, I don't know what's going to look like, I know what we want to accomplish. However things unfold, I say just keep helping me give clarity to everybody so that they can stay on track. Because a lot of times, this is a rough time. A lot of people are going through a lot of tough, mental things. And it's like, how do I support them?
Right. And we hope this, episode is helping you if you're watching this. If you have that desire, if you have that grit, and most importantly, if you take anything, find your why, right? If you don't have it. We're hoping this helps you out. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time. We'll be back next week on the Monday Huddle. Till then, signing out. Thank you.